Well, hello there, friends. It is Sunday, February 21st, 2021. It is like 6:30 p.m. This is going to be a late upload. It's been a busy day, actually. I got some stuff to do after this, too, so I got to make sure I get everything done. I don't ramble for too long. A bit, but not too much, and get this uploaded at an appropriate time. Just got it tired, so yeah, it turned out that way. Church, massage, some other errands, picking up prescription for my dad, chatting with the pharmacy people a little bit, all sorts of stuff. So, where to even begin? I wish I had brought a bottle of water or something, because I am thirsty. So I finally started going on weekday services. So I went on a weekday. Getting comfortable with the Sundays, I figured, all right, well, let's try going to a weekday 1, 2, just kind of see what it's all about. It was, smaller, primarily. I mean, it was just older folks. Chatted a little bit with somebody after. It was a wife of one of the priests. Don't get any ideas. Just making a little small talk at the end. She said, oh yeah, usually younger people don't go to these weekday ones, but even still, they weren't having it in the church. It was kind of like in the lobby area off to the side. I wasn't really sure. Maybe it was because there weren't a lot of people signed up or what, but I found out later that I think there's some flooding or something in the church, and they we're working on that stuff. So it was good. Nice, quaint little service. Believe it was about Tyron. I don't know how it's pronounced. The little homily, the talk, the sermon, if you will. Was it a soldier that converted to Christianity, then admitted it, and then was going to get punished, but was going to be, I don't know, martyred. See, I'm explaining this so poorly, but even at the end when they were going to take him to the fire, was praying to not lose strength. I think even like somebody like that in that situation, I think the point was trying to make that even in that situation, asking for the strength, even when seemingly had gone through so much. But it was good. I enjoyed it. I definitely realized halfway through, I was just sitting there, and it really dawned on me of just how this truly has become. Sorry, I had a bunch of fish for dinner. Salmon, some salted fish, and I finished off with some cheddar cheese and bacon. So that was my carnivore meal for the day. Oh, look at all that meat. It's enough to feed a village. Sorry, I went on a tangent, but yeah, I was sitting there, it's a quaint little service, not a lot of people, and even then I just thought of like, wow, this has truly become the only source of enjoyment in my life anymore. Not to be dramatic, but the only source of some sort of joy is just even going to church, or even just going to a small little thing like this. And then afterwards, Seemed like the priests have learned my name. And again, going to an Orthodox church, maybe it's like you say George long enough that they're like, oh yeah, oh, another George. So they vaguely recognize you and just call you George, even if they don't know that it's George. I just kind of make the joke with people, and multiple people say it is. Man, I feel like I'd never met another George until I went to an Orthodox church, and then like every other dude is George. So it kind of becomes this, oh, hi, George. No, what's your name, George? All right. And then another person will say, George. Gosh. George, meet George. Kind of that little thing. But yeah, they learned my name at this point. So when I get communion, is it? Or the little thing with the bread, and is it the wine or something in it? I don't have to do the like, oh, what's your name? Like, oh, it's George. So that's, and then the one priest just kind of talked to me after, I talked to them a little bit that, yeah, I've been going on Sundays, I'm new here, just kind of getting comfortable, starting to go on some of these weekday services, and just chatted to me a little bit and said, well, once you're kind of feeling comfortable and all that, maybe you'd like to help us out. And I don't know, I think he said maybe like help with the acolytes. I think like you're not like an ordained person or anything, obviously, but it's basically an assistant. I think they like follow the priest around with like that stick that's got a candle or a candle at the end. Just I think lighting the incense too that I saw, just things like that. I don't know if they help prepare anything, but yeah, I just told them, hey, absolutely, I'd be happy to do that if you need any help. So maybe in a bit here, once I'm feeling more comfortable and all that, I'll just kind of talk to him again and say, well, is there anything I can help with? Even if it's, do you need some boxes carried or something? Not too heavy, but do you need me to move some chairs around or what? How can I volunteer my time? So, yeah. And I afterwards also talked a bit to this old Greek lady. And I mean that old in the most dearest of respect. Just this really nice, pleasant old lady. She said to call her Yaya. I think that's Greek for grandmother, but I don't know if she was actually serious or not about that. I figured maybe I won't overdo that in case she was like half joking, half serious. I'd use her actual name, but yeah, chatted a bit with her. Just very nice, pleasant lady. And I remember going home and thinking to myself, I think I just got a taste of something that I did not know that I was hungry for, to be honest. It's like drops of water into a desert that has forgotten that it's dry and it's thirsty. It was very much, the shell is still there. I don't know if the shell, metaphorically, the callous shell that's been built around you, that you've built up over many years, is very much still there, but something, folks, felt like it has begun to crack. I don't know if it'll ever be gone, but yeah. It became almost a little bit hard to think about anything else. I kind of remember looking at my computer and like, oh, hey, I got to do coding stuff, but almost being like, I don't care about anything else right now. You do begin to understand that, yeah, what's the passage? Man shall not live by bread alone. And you hear these. I'm not looking at my phone. It's just And I wrote down some stuff if I have time to do Q&A. And you hear these words, or you see them get quoted, and it's like, all right, I don't know, that's weird, but you don't quite get the meaning, because sometimes you have to feel. You have to feel to truly understand. So that was, I'm glad I was like, whoa, I'm glad I went to that. And then so I did obviously go today. So they still haven't moved into the church. They just did it in a bigger hall. I don't completely remember what the sermon was about, mostly because like the seats in front of me, there was this family and there's this little kid that was like playing with these little toy trucks, and then would periodically show them to me and be like, oh, she stuck. Oh, see, and then it like moves out. Now it's not stuck. So, I just like look at him once in a while and give him like a thumbs up or something, just to acknowledge him, not just like, oh, I'm gonna not even look at you, kid. I'm just gonna be like a stone looking forward. So yeah, I just give him some thumbs up, and then eventually he started doing the thumbs up and just kind of looking at his hand like, oh, Babby's first thumbs up. I think later on I saw him like doing that to one of the women that he was with. I don't know if it was the mom or somebody else. So it was kind of funny. I believe, from best I recall, he talked about, was it when the Pharisee and the tax collector went into the temple or the whatever to talk to God, or said, I'm not recalling this too well, and I didn't bring the sheet with me. It was a lot of, I guess, it's that thing where is there like the 4 Sundays until Lent or start of Lent. Even though baptized and all that as a kid, it's all so new and learning all the time, and you're like, I don't know any of this. But yeah, I think the point was that, I think the Pharisee was all like, oh, look at how righteous and holy I am. Look at this tax collector, how awful he is. And sort of that outside may be one thing, but the inside can be something else. And, physical versus spiritual healing, and kind of like a hospital of the soul, and how the tax collector had his head bowed through all of that. And at the end, I mean, is it the God have mercy on me, a sinner, saying that? So it was good. Afterwards, I got my bread, ate the whole thing. Should have saved half for my mom, but I guess not this time. So I did see Dave, but I actually ended up talking to a bunch of other people. So I didn't really chat with him. I guess there's this one lady in line with me when we were leaving that I've seen here and there, and she just started talking to me. We just started talking a bunch about all sorts of various things, and just me like well, like why I'm here and my background. And actually, when I came into the church, I chatted with some of those like greeter people a bunch too, because it's like you see new people, start talking to them, and one of them was they hear like, oh, you're from Ukraine. One of them actually started talking to me in Russian. I was like, oh, can you speak Ukrainian? I was like, no, I can speak Russian. So I think one of the church people overheard me, and then later during the service kind of walked by me and asked if I wanted to say some sort of prayer in Russian. I forgot which one it is. They go through a whole bunch of them, like in English, then Greek, and then some other ones. I don't know if it's, I don't, there's another one. I mostly just said, I I was very flattered. I'm like, whoa, like that was neat. Somebody just randomly approached you because they heard you speaking in Russian and asked if you wanted to say this thing in Russian, but I told her that I don't actually know it. But also, I didn't want to add that I also don't know what that is. I mean, I hear it. I think I get the general idea. Is it before or after communion where you, I don't know, I don't want to speak too much about that. I'm already talking about my buttocks of stuff I don't know. But yeah, talked a bit in Russian with one of the greeter people, and then I said I talked to this lady after about a bunch of stuff, and I did kind of mention, I've been enjoying reading Seraphim Rose, and she was telling me, oh, well, he's part of the church. He is controversial and all that, but he is part. I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting that impression. I have a tendency to jump into the controversial stuff first, right, as usual. But afterwards, yeah, the Yaya, if you will, came up and started chatting to me too, and I was just telling other people like, oh, hey, meet George over here, and just really, like I said, really nice lady. Just, I don't know. It was, even though they don't really do a fellowship right now, it actually felt like, whoa, we're just kind of hanging out here and talking. And then some other people came up, and she introduced this lady and her son. His son is going to college, and I guess will try to go become a priest. So just overall, this little group of people chatting together, it was very, very nice, folks. Can you believe it? I'm actually going somewhere and talking to people and kind of breaking out of my shell and getting to know people and all that stuff. It was, yeah. Fellowship truly is important. I mean, the service is great. The fellowship is very important too. So I would have stayed longer, but I had a massage appointment. So yeah, that was that, folks. That was that. I obviously plan to continue to go. I mean, it would be this would be the worst time to stop. You've already started. You've been doing it a bit, just like everything else. The process has started. You're too far in to stop now. Now you got to keep going. Go to weekday and see if I can go to any of the Vespers, which I believe are evening services on Saturday. I've got some time coming up here in March. Kind of a use it or lose it situation with accrued vacation hours past a certain point. So I figured, what the heck? It's usually my tradition, if you will, to go early in the year, like January, February, March, April, around then. Take 2 weeks off just to use the hours. So yeah, that plan to go to church a whole lot more on those 2 weeks off and check out Vespers, because see what that's all about, because usually I don't get a chance due to my work schedule. So yeah, it's I'm meeting people, learning, all that good stuff. How about that? Decided to go somewhere and actually interact with people rather than just sit in my room endlessly. And look how that's going. Let's just get the lights reset. So yeah. Oh, I did hear, we'll go into it later. Actually, no, let's go into it now. I'll probably, just due to the length of how this is going to go, let's probably avoid any Q&A stuff for this week. I think this will probably be lengthy enough. There's one comment that I can't find Now, there's a person talking about, I don't know if YouTube deleted this. I feel like, I don't know why, since it was posted, or if the user deleted it themselves. But they were talking about how their wife was having fertility issues, and they got the good news and all that stuff that she's going to have a kid. So I was going to just talk about that, but I can't find the comment. So if I don't find it, I'll just have to try to paraphrase it the best as I can. But I'll do that next time for next week's video. But let's see. Oh yeah, I did hear back from work. Like I said, they didn't offer it to me, but some of the lower hour part-time people, they were offering extra hours with kind of new stuff going on at work that they plan on doing, which is more of a, not a, how do you feel about this? But I got the impression that it's more of a, this got passed down from the top in a, like, hey, so this is what you're going to be doing. Make it work and break the news to everyone, which I don't mind. At this point, I'm so used to rolling with the changes and all that I don't really care. There's no point in, you're just grateful to have a job and employment given the unsteadiness of everything. And that was even the thing with the church, is it's not even just the joy, but also the stability, just a source of some kind of stability in life. That was nice too. But I did hear back, and they said that, no, sorry, we can't give you hours right now. But things are very up in the air and in flux right now, so who knows. We'll keep it in mind. I figured that was going to be the case. I wasn't offered to me, but I figured I'd at least throw that out there to keep in mind. So hey, I'm at least making some attempt, right? Maybe I should be working more. Maybe I got a little too much free time, an excessive amount of free time, and the only thing that I have accomplished with all that free time is completely lost touch with reality and life and people and all that stuff. That I also thought that probably in the next couple of months, folks, I think probably by March, I'll kind of know, depending on how recovery goes. And I don't mean to be dramatic with the back. I'll get into that later, but if things are getting better, which I'm hoping on, and I think it will be. Just seeing how things pan out at work, just with the changes and any possibility of like any hours or anything like that. I think I'll kind of know at some point where, well, it's kind of looking like it's not going to happen anytime soon. I am very, very open, folks. Very, very open at this point to getting a second part-time job. Maybe in the evenings after work, or maybe some also on some days off, something like that. Just to make some extra money, and but it's not even just that. I mean, yeah, that's a part of it, but I think the thing is just do something else somewhere else with other people and kind of shake up your routine, so you're not just, well, I'm just doing what I already know and what I'm comfortable more or less and familiar with. So on top of that, you have on this thing that's like, that kind of forces you out of your comfort zone, in addition to, spending less free time thinking and wondering and all that stuff. So yeah, I can't believe I'm actually saying that. That is another little thing that hit me of like, man, if it's kind of looking like nothing's happening here, it probably would not hurt to kind of shake things up for a bit. I talked to my Afghani friend. He said that you should come work at, so the Kroger equivalent here, I mean, they're owned by Kroger here in Colorado, is King Super. So dude, you should come work at the one I work at. And I'm like, man, I might have to take you up on that, dude. And no, that's not like, oh, you're going to quit your job to go stock grocery things. Like, no, it's none of that. It's just, maybe it might, I said, might have to just something extra on top of what I'm doing to really shake things up, getting something new, somewhere new, with new people and a new kind of challenge and all of that. And honestly, man, it would be so fun to work with him again. Some of the best times of my life were truly when we worked together as shelvers. Just some of the best nights, just make each other laugh. Like, just, you had this little moment in time in the day where you were just like, you experienced pure joy from somebody else. That, so yeah, we'll see. I think, like I said, in the next couple of months, I'll kind of know, just depending on how things go. So, yeah. Another thing that I never thought I would actually consider. But probably long overdue, folks. If anything, it might help bring me back to reality a little bit. From this thing that I'd built up in my head, kind of pop that bubble and bring you back down to earth. And once again, I've now had several people drive by very slowly and look at me. Oh, you seem kind of nervous when you're recording. People are on the phone all the time. Well, I don't know, do people normally just like slow down and look at you when you're just kind of doing your thing? There was somebody walked by earlier. I don't know if it's because I got my light on and the camera's like this. I don't know. Is it that weird, man? Just don't look at me. I'm not here cruising. All right. I'm just recording a freaking video. So yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing I never thought I'd actually think about. Like, getting a second job if I can't go full time, just at least for now, for a bit of time, just to experience something new, man. So as for back stuff, back pain Billy, or back pain Barry here. Back pain Billy, I forgot. Back pain Billy, back pain Barry, I forgot what the person in one of the comments said. Oh, for another adventure in back pain Barry. I'll just say back pain Billy. Oh, Billy. So things. Something's getting better, folks. It's another one of those kind of maddening things where you don't know exactly what did it. If I had to truly guess, I think that I finally found the formula where you're able to keep aggravation down to a minimum and able to actually rest at night and get some amount of sleep. Definitely sleeping on my stomach. And actually, I'm not sleeping on my stomach on the floor. I'm actually in bed. And I kind of found a setup with pillows to do that. It's the worst way to sleep according to all the experts. I mean, my chiropractor that I was seeing, I don't know how much more I'll keep going back, I'm like doing the complete opposite he said to do. And like having results. But yeah, it is, I think that made a huge difference and has given me a chunk of time where I can actually lay down, get some rest, and take that aggravation off of that area. And I mean, a week of that, and that has been huge. It has been huge. The other thing too is just, pushing this whole standing up. And I'm having less of that, like, oh, I feel pain in the rhomboid. It's more of that general achiness from, oh God, I've gotten so unaccustomed from standing up and being on my feet that you're just achy that way. I feel myself just getting stronger every day with it. Amazing, right? A year of working from home and spending most of it, even though I lost weight. And I'm glad I did, because, man, trying to go through all this right now again, but being like 50 to 60 pounds heavier would be an absolute freaking nightmare. but losing the weight, going for walks and exercising. But even then, all that time that I spent laying down and sitting down, my just like general human ability to be on my feet for any amount of time drastically went down. It is almost shocking, but like I said, I'm getting stronger and stronger and just able to enter that state where you're just on your feet, but able to physically focus, like mentally focus on something and not be like, oh, I am standing up and this is hard and I am tired. How can I focus on my computer? So it's like, I'll feel like aching in the upper ab area and that mid back along the spine, those erector spinae muscles, if that's what they're called, just kind of like, whoa. It's not that they hurt, it's just like, whoa, all these postural muscles have not had to work in any amount of time are putting in the work. But you know what? I've noticed that my rhomboid area isn't really hurting. So I think that was another thing, which is another fantastic rabbit hole of sitting versus standing versus, oh, well, they're both bad if you do any amount for any amount of time. The importance is moving. It's another thing where there's so much contradictory information. And these ridiculous formulas of, oh, you should stand for 20 minutes, sit for 8 minutes, and then stretch for a minute. Like, who has time for this? This is ridiculous. It's that all I know is I just try to stand for as long as I can. Periodically sit down, periodically lay down, but just force myself to stand, and that is my exercise right now. I'm not really going for walks, not really exercising otherwise. Giving that rhomboid a rest. Getting your R&R, getting your rhomboid rest. And just standing for hours is my exercise, which is good. Truly, folks, building yourself back up. But yeah, I did some more acupuncture, which I think helped. Cool lady. I kind of chatted with her a bit. We didn't go into specifics, but just kind of talking about this whole situation as a whole, and just like how this like contradictory information and not really knowing what the truth is, and just this whole, the extent of this lockdown and how you kind of lose your humanity and how much you truly need people and all that. It was very cool lady. What she was saying, that at least she has this like office she can go to work, like her practice. For me, it was like, well, I live and work in my room, and even as a hardcore introvert, you gave me enough time to be alone, and man, did I realize that I actually do not want to be alone, and this sucks. This really sucks. It is that be careful what you wish for, you might just get it. Yeah, and you might find out that it really, really sucks. You may have to admit in your cold black heart that, wow, I actually do want to be around people. But yeah, it's feeling a lot better. I mean, I'm not out of the woods. I mean, I'm sitting here and I can kind of feel it, obviously, but it's getting way better, folks. And like I think I'm finally like being able to save up enough water in my pitcher of water, if you remember my analogy, where I'm actually healing. And I had a good massage therapy session today. Some good stuff from my massage therapist. And they were just like, we talked about it all, and yeah, we got a lot of good release in areas. I think the most of it was when they like dug their elbow into like the area and just slowly rolled it through. It was like some very tender spots that just like were releasing and, I don't know, popping, if that's probably not the word for it, but then they would go through and kind of test the area out, and it was it's like feeling even better. It's no longer like digging into a rock. So I think this is going to be another good, after this session, once it heals up a little bit, it's going to be another good little prognosis, I don't know. So Yeah, folks, after over a month and a half, it's kind of hard not to feel like the last month and a half was almost for nothing, where you were just constantly fighting with it, constantly in some sort of agony, not able to rest at anything, and literally doing the complete opposite of what you're told by, like, what do I just sleep on my stomach out of desperation? I'll just get used to this, which I have. And I mean, at this point, sleeping on the floor, sleeping on my stomach, sleeping this way, sleeping that way, sleeping without a pillow. I'm so used to sleeping every which way that I got acclimated very quick to this. I think my body was just so happy to be in a position where, oh, I'm finally not in pain. I can relax. That I got, like, who cares, whatever. Little discomforts are fine. At the very least, you don't have this stabbing pain in your rhomboid. So yeah, that was, I'm feeling hopeful, folks. After over a month and a half, I feel like I'm actually finally now recovering, starting to feel like some sort of a human being among the living. Just very, very grateful. So that's that. So I guess we'll move on to the last part with the coding, which I said I was going to finish the course, but I did not. And so before I get into the excuses, you have my permission to downvote this video. I mean, I said I was going to finish. I can make all the excuses in the world. It doesn't really matter. You didn't do it, so I said, what, if I don't do it, you can downvote this video. So go ahead and leave the downvotes. I totally earn it. So now on to the excuses. Let's see. I mean, I thought, oh, what, 13 hours? I can do that easily, right? I'm just going to take it easy early in the week. And that's what I did. Kept myself occupied with other stuff. Thought about my back more. This was before it was like starting to feel better. It was like later in the week, the second half of the week is when the feeling better really started to take into effect. And let's see, did that. And then I got to tell you, like I said, after church, it was that, maybe there's a term or description for it where I was just so satisfied and happy with this new thing that I found myself very, very disinterested in earthly affairs, so to speak. Which does have a downside too, because you do have your responsibilities here. And so by the time I actually finally started later in the week, I very quickly discovered that there is a lot more than I was expecting, and did not take into account a lot of these practice tests and sessions and challenges. Object-oriented JavaScript kind of knocked me on my butt, but some of the challenge stuff, I didn't really like how that particular teacher was going on with it, because it wasn't like, oh, here's the concepts I've taught you, now like go use it in this situation. It was also have it do this, which you probably don't know how to do, but you should check up documentation how to do that, which does have its place, right? But also well, I'm also a beginner, and this is supposed to be a beginner course, and you're having me try to look up this stuff that I don't know. I just found it very, very difficult. I did not finish. There was like a 2-hour long, like, make a game little challenge that I did not even start yet. But I just kind of left that aside for now. Maybe I'll go back to that. It was a side thing. It was, you know, like little practice stuff. And then all of a sudden, whoa, over a 2-hour long thing. Like, where did that come from? So moved on to Bootstrap, learning Bootstrap, beginning Bootstrap, which is a front-end framework, which is the first framework that I've kind of encountered and learned. All say is I am very, very glad I listened to the advice of that one programmer a while ago who said to focus on just plain old HTML, CSS, and JavaScript so you actually know what's going on. I didn't know what a framework was, but now, at least in with Bootstrap, what they make all these CSS classes and add JavaScript programming, and you use their documentation for, I want to add this box or this button, so you can copy the code down and modify it however you want. And it was interesting, right? It was like, oh, huh, okay, so that's what I'm doing. You're essentially like doing the work for me. And I can see how quickly I can do this stuff. And then about halfway through, I realize, so I'm not actually learning anything. I'm literally just, oh, I want to give it a nav bar, so let me look up the nav bar section and copy the code. Which I can see, you know, I can see like once you know that stuff, or maybe you just want to focus on the content, but also like, so I'm not learning anything. So I got very sour on that, and I don't know how I feel about frameworks. I'm sure they have their place. I can see you're like, oh, this would be tedious to code up and all that, but like the situation I'm in, like I don't want to make that easier and like take my ability to do that away. I don't need magic. I want to like know, I want to like reinforce how to do that stuff. So I finished it up, but I very much found it like, yeah, this is neat, but I don't know if I like this. I don't think I do. I think I just want to I want to actually control the CSS and do all that stuff myself and do the stuff with the JavaScript. I don't like this. I don't like it. So yeah, I have very much hit that point. Like I will finish now that I've learned my lesson about being a little too confident and cocky and overestimating the situation in yourself. I will actually get that done this week. But the thing is, like, just to get it done for the sake of completion, but I think I have very much hit that point where it's really you're not really learning much anymore, because what you need to be doing now is making projects. I've had some people tell me that, and I think I'm about to hit that point where, like, yeah, I gotta kind of finish this and be done with it, and now actually try to start up some sort of projects and then just kind of look stuff up and actually learn that way, because that's where most of the learning that I had took place, was when I was making some of my own websites and stuff. So I wrote down a number of stuff. Got to look through the list and just try to think of like, man, what would be something good to start with? Like maybe a calculator or something like that. I don't know, something. But I got to finish up and then kind of walk away from like watching tutorials and following little simple instructions. Because yeah, I feel like I'm not really, like, you're picking stuff up, but it's also like, how do I actually use this? So it's going to be time for that. But yeah, I could have finished, but I didn't, because I got a little too confident. So yeah, that is that. And I was still able to turn this into almost 45 minutes, folks, which I got to get back home. Like I said, I got to get back home. So yeah, things appear to be moving in a good direction. Some sort of a good direction. I feel like I'm being disintegrated and rearranged and forced to little by little be different and think different. Almost like there's this external pressure coming in and being like, all right, pal, you're going to have this happen to you, and you're going to be forced to start changing, because you clearly don't want to change yourself. So yeah, that appears to be happening. That appears to be happening, folks. So that's why it is so, like I said, unbelievably important to keep going, stay strong, even if your progress is minor, to keep going, to keep, I don't know, get out of your Start breaking out of the comfort zones, all that stuff, especially when you don't feel like it and you don't feel great and you have every reason under the whatever to give up and quit, and how easy it would be. But the process has started. The process has started, and you've gone far enough into it where if there was a worse time to stop and to give up, now would be it. In fact, by stopping now, you would only make things even worse than if you had stopped when you just began. So that's going to do it, folks. That is going to do it. I will see you next Sunday, and I'll do some Q&A next Sunday. So I'm very, very grateful. Very, very grateful for just to be able to learn from discomfort and pain. I don't know how to describe it. Like I said, I feel like I'm finally getting a taste of just something that I didn't know that I actually wanted, that I was hungry for. But maybe it had to happen so that you would finally find it in the way that you need it to. All right, folks, that's going to do it. I will see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.